So, hello everybody. I'm Tony, and welcome back to Voices from the Field. Today, I'm here with this lovely kid, Austin. Austin, would you like to tell everybody a little bit more about who you are, your ag background, all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, of course. I'm Austin Bruchhaus. I'm from the great state of Louisiana, and I'm currently serving as the Louisiana FFA Area 3 President. I basically grew up in agriculture my whole life, and just this past year, I got the opportunity to become an area officer, so I
Yeah.
really get to serve my community in my area.
Yeah. So what does your family primarily like grow or raise? Or I guess I don't know a lot about Louisiana, but can you tell me more specifically about your family and then more about your state in general?
Yeah, of course. My family, I'm like, I think we're like 10th generation rice farmers. So we
Wow.
have lots of rice around my house. Like if I look out my window right here, you see straight rice
Oh my
fields.
gosh,
And
that's crazy.
I know. And just like growing up, I've always been around it. We also have crawfish, soybeans, and
Okay.
there's raising canes. There's sugar cane north of where I live, but it's
Yeah.
about 30 minutes. But Louisiana, actually, our greatest commodity is forestry. So a lot of like
Okay.
trees, where we come
So
from,
not
and
rice.
so not rice, but rice is like number two, number three on that
Yeah.
list. So it's kind of like that ratio. Louisiana thrives off of what we make in agriculture.
Yeah, that's similar to Illinois because here we are the pumpkin state, but there's not like a pumpkin patch for miles. We are more so like
Yeah,
corn and soybeans in my town. So, yeah.
nice.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I'm actually going to
Yeah.
for next gen conference in Chicago.
Okay, that's
Um,
kind of fun.
it's for yes.
Yeah, so I haven't had any FFA members on yet, so this is kind of fun. The people I've interviewed are both like older generational farmers, and we go out to their farms, so like the online thing is kind of new and exciting. But you being an FFA member, I wanted to know how being an FFA has kind of changed your viewpoint on agriculture from maybe before you were an FFA, something kind of along those lines.
Yes, when you ask me that question, it kind of brings me back because whenever I first joined FFA, our chapter is really involved, not just within our school, but within our whole community as
Mm-hmm.
well. And that's the same thing for area office. And I had the opportunity to go and actually read to some elementary kids about
Yes.
agriculture every month for like, it's been 2 years now.
Same.
And
We do the exact same thing. It's so much fun.
but yeah, I love it so much. But what it taught me is one of the books was just teaching the kids that like the clothes you're wearing right now,
Yeah.
I mean the food that you eat, it all comes from like a farm,
Hmm.
like cotton fields. How you get the shirts that you're wearing right now, the food that you eat, it comes from possibly a local farm that's right across the street from us,
Right.
and it just opened my eyes a lot more because whenever I used to go to the grocery store as a kid, I knew that my grandparents, they grew rice, they put
Hmm.
rice, and that's how we got cream rice sitting in our local town. But what I didn't realize is that the vegetables we use in our food, the like literally everything that we eat, it comes from a farm,
Hmm.
and it just opened my eyes to a broader spectrum, so I could more deeply see how much that agriculture affects us and our communities as well.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned reading to the kids because we also read to the kindergartners every month, and something that was really fun for us is we'd ask them like questions like, "Do you guys know where dairy is made?" And they would say like, "It's from the ground." Like the rest of the stuff. And it's just really cute because they don't know. And I'm from more of a city kind of area. You have to drive at least like 2, 3 miles. It's not like a right out the window, there's a cornfield type of deal. So some of these kids like haven't even ever been on a field. You know what I mean? So they just don't really understand. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this one is kind of more fun, but I wanted to know from the perspective of like the rice. What does a every single day activity look like for them? Like if okay, I did the similar thing with somebody's cattle, and I was like, pretend you're the cow for a day. What do they see going on? But with rice for you.
Rice. Okay, so if I was some rice outside, I would probably see farmers checking the fields that surround it each and every day because we separate our fields from levee, like through levees, which
Hmm.
is like you know what a levee is, right? No, okay.
No.
So it's like these big like it's like something you can drive on. It's like dirt, but it separates each field so you can
Okay.
have equal proportions. It's
Okay.
easier to control with fertilizer and things
Yeah.
like that. But we have these things that they connect each thing together. So whenever we pump water, they'll go through all the fields at once.
Okay.
So sometimes we have to block those off to like not give something too much water, and a lot of holes in like the levee can sometimes happen, which causes a lot rice to die, too much water in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time, farmers are constantly going and check those levees and making sure there's no holes in the, throughout the levees and making sure there's nothing happening with the rice.
Okay.
And when it gets closer to like harvest season,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like fertilizer stuff going on. So you see a lot of fertilizer.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have like siblings? That kind of deal?
I have one sister and she's 8 years old.
Oh, 8 years old. Okay, so do you guys like split up the chores kind of deal? I understand that age gap's a little bit bigger, but like how does the like farm and like working type of life, like how would you split that up if maybe you guys were closer in age? If that makes sense.
I don't do a lot on the farm right now
Okay.
just because I'm so busy with school and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's
of
mainly
course.
like my other cousins, my
Mm-hmm.
grandparents and stuff. But we don't really do a lot in that sense of like going out and checking fields because like farm doesn't work for our family and such. But yeah.
Okay, can I ask what you like, what's your future career path? Do you want to carry in the generation or do you want to go into maybe a different ag field? Have you explored other options? Where is that mindset at right now?
So although I do appreciate my family's like found love for the rice fields and everything like that, I just don't think that I would fit great in that path.
Yeah.
And I did explore, and I've been researching a lot about what I wanted to do with my future. And I would love to go to Louisiana State University and get my agribusiness degree and minor in communications, and then become an agricultural lawyer.
Oh my gosh, I have a friend that's really interested in that. She's taking criminal justice classes right now, and it's really exciting for me because I have never like when I think of ag careers, the first thing that doesn't come to my mind is like a lawyer. But like that's still such a huge part of it, So I think that's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully that'll work out.
And if it doesn't, it's like you still have options, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. For this second portion, we're going to do something fun. Depending on how long we take on each section, will depend which ones we do. But I have some 2 truths and a lie, which I'm going to give you 3 data points, and I'm going to have you guess which one is the fake data point I just made up. And then I have some dad jokes, which are so funny. Not really, but you're going to pity me and laugh. And then lastly, I have a couple over and unders.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with some not icebreakers. Let's start with some 2 truths and a lie.
All right.
Okay, number 1, an acre of soybeans can produce over 82,000 crayons. 1 bushel of corn can sweeten more than 400 cans of Coca-Cola. And a single bale of cotton, which is about 480 pounds, can be spun into 100 pairs of denim jeans. What are we thinking is the lie? Tell me your brain process, what's going on?
Okay, so I think the cotton in the jeans is true.
Okay.
Sure, but I'm thinking it's true.
Okay.
I think the lie would have to be the crayons one.
The crayons? Is that what we're locking in?
I think we're going to lock in
So you're thinking that the corn in the 400 and something cans of Coca-Cola is true?
I think so.
Okay. You were wrong. So an acre of soybeans will produce over 82,000 crayons. Our Coca-Cola one is true, and the one that you said that you thought for sure was true is actually our lie. A single bale of cotton is actually going to produce about 325 pairs of jeans, not 100 pairs of jeans.
Okay, I did not realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Okay, the second one is about the farms. So the first one U.S. farm, and when I say U.S. farm, it's like an average between like a big industrial one and like a small town farm. So think happy medium here.
Okay.
feeds an average of 1,000 people annually, both domestically and internationally. Or, number 2, there are about 2.1 million farms in the United States, and roughly 99% of them are going to be operated by families. Or, number 3, farmers receive only about 11.6 cents of a dollar on the food that they spend. For like every dollar that they make, they only receive about 11.6 cents for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so let me know if you need me to repeat any of those, because, yeah.
So the first one, can you repeat the first one?
Okay, yeah. One United States farm is going to feed an average of 1,000 people, both domestically and internationally.
Okay. I really want to say that the last one's a lie, but I don't know.
Okay, the only 11.6 cents?
Yeah, I feel like they'd get a little bit more than that. Just
Okay.
like growing up, I feel like we've made a little bit more, but I may be like really off. I don't know. I'm gonna lock in with that last.
You're gonna lock in with the last one. Okay. We are wrong again. It's okay though, because we have one more to redeem ourselves, so it's fine.
But what if we don't redeem ourselves?
We might not, but it's okay. Okay, so the last one is actually true. The farmer does only receive about 11.6 cents for every dollar spent, which is it's kind of crazy for how much you think of like how difficult the farmer's job actually is. You know what I mean? Like it feels like so little. The one that was the lie is that one United States farm feeds an average of 1,000 people annually. The number there is actually 165.
Wow.
Total. I know, that's crazy. That's something crazy to me because I'm not from a ag background. So, like, whenever I drive past a cornfield, to me, that's going to feed an entire town. Like, in my,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But only 165 people, that was, like, shocking to me. I was like, what? How does that even make sense?
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that.
Okay, and then this one is about dairy cows. Kind of fun. 1 day's production for a high-producing dairy cow is either going to be 12.8 pounds of butter, 8.7 gallons of ice cream, or 10.5 pounds of cheese. 2 of these are true, 1 of these is the lie.
Okay, repeat that question one more time.
Okay, average dairy cow's production. 12.8 pounds of butter, 8.7 gallons of ice cream, or 10.5 pounds of cheese. You have to redeem yourself because this is our last one of this. You got it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give my initial thoughts here.
Okay.
I don't know. Whenever you say butter, I know that we make a lot of butter at dairy cows around here, so I really want to say that's true.
Okay.
But I don't know. And then you said ice cream, right?
Yeah, 8.7 gallons of ice cream.
8.7 gallons. Man, if we're making that much, how's only making that much ice cream?
I'm rooting for you here because I feel like you need to get at least one of these 2 truths and a lie,
Absolutely,
right?
I think so too. Gosh. What I'm about to say, I think is gonna be wrong, but I really just want to say the ice cream's wrong. but by looking at your face, I'm not gonna lock in.
Okay, I'm going neutral now. Poker face.
Okay.
I have no poker face.
No, it's okay. Repeat the last one more time if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 10.5 pounds of cheese.
10.5 pounds of cheese. A lot of cheese.
Next time I'll send you a list of like things you need to study on before.
Yeah. No, literally. No, it's okay though.
No, it's okay. That's the point. It's like, let's see what we know.
Christ. Yeah, nothing obviously.
Yeah, same. It's okay.
Um. Okay, I'm really stuck between like all three of them.
These are the only options, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I don't take a wild guess here. I'm just gonna say butter.
Okay, that's your lie?
Yeah.
You got it. The actual yes, you got one. I'm so proud.
That would be fun.
Okay, the actual yield is going to be 4.8, not 12.8.
Okay.
So it's a very crazy difference there.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, I'm glad we got that one. Okay, now we're gonna do. We'll actually do a break from the information, and I'm gonna tell you my really good dad jokes. These are actually not my dad jokes. These are farms.com's dad jokes. Because, unfortunately, I'm not creative enough to come up with these good dad jokes. Excuse my laughing. No, I'm going to be serious for this.
Let's see who laughs more.
I'm already laughing. It doesn't count. Okay.
Okay.
As a farmer, I hear lots of jokes about sheep. I'm not a farmer. I'd tell them to my dog, but he'd herd them all. You cried. I can't tell if this is a pity laugh. Hold on, you just cut out really bad, so I'm gonna need you to repeat whatever you just said.
Okay. I said I'm gonna have to visit that website.
Yes, dude, it was literally tight. I looked up best farmer dad jokes ever, and it's really good. Okay. What farm animal keeps the best time? This one's not as good.
A pig.
A watchdog.
I see what you did there.
I got no laugh for that one. It's okay, that's okay. Okay, and our last one. What do you call a horse that lives next door?
A neighbor.
Yeah. Those are my great dad jokes. And now we're going to go back to serious, and we're going to do over or under.
Okay.
Okay. My line here is 50%. So over or under, 50% of all farmers are beginning farmers. Basically meaning they've been in business for less than 10 years.
Okay. Definitely over, I think. I mean, under.
Under?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, under.
Yes, you're right. The real data is 30% of all farmers are beginner farmers, and their average age is actually 47 years old. Which, it's kind of what you'd expect, like middle age, kind of that deal.
Yeah.
Okay. My line, what is my line here? Over or under 2% of United States farmers are serving or have served in the military. 2% is like, 1 in every 50 farmers that you were gather in a room. So, over or under 2% of the United States farmers are serving or have served in the military.
I want to say over.
Okay, you're nailing this one. You're right. It's over. So, our line is actually 9%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know, that's kind of a lot, I feel like, but what do I know? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Many American holidays are going to be celebrated with food. Like Thanksgiving, you've got whole turkey, whole shenanigans, that kind of deal. So, Americans are going to spend over or under $2 billion on food for holidays every year.
Above or below 2 billion? And this is only America, right?
Yes.
I'm going to say over.
Okay, you nailed these ones. Over again. That could have been my fault for setting bad lines, but maybe you're just you're feeling refreshed after my dad jokes.
I am.
Okay,
so much life.
Really it's on me, these wins here. Okay, one of the last things I have for us is I'm going to name some different controversial, more modern farming techniques, and we'll just chit-chat about them. I want to hear your opinion. I can tell you my opinion, that kind of deal, since the podcast is about how ag is evolving. Okay, my first topic is factory farming.
Okay.
What's our opinions? Is this yay or nay? We'll start with that.
Um, you know, I grew up obviously of
Yeah,
like watching my grandparents farm,
yeah.
and I think factory farming, yes, it's something that can be more efficient for America in
Okay.
many different ways. But we also are doing so much. I mean, part of FFA's mission is like believing in the future of agriculture. And how are we going to do that? And how are we going to show those younger kids what's happening in a factory instead of looking out their back door and seeing that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, if we're walking out, if we're driving on a road, we could see, like you said, 2 miles on the road, you can see a cornfield.
Mhm.
If we're like primarily evolving to more factory related farming, then we're not going to be able to we can't really expand that horizon to the kids who are coming
Yeah.
up in the new generations. So I'm not really for it, but
Okay. I have to say I share the same opinion, but my opinion wasn't really rooted in the educational aspect. I, however, am a giant environmentalist. And for me,
okay.
big factory farms is like going to be a big no-go because
Yeah.
obviously plants good for the environment, ginormous buildings are not. That kind of deal. So that's where my opinion lies on that one. Okay. Genetically modified organisms. This one's kind of a two-parter, so we'll start with GMOs and then we'll get into the second part of GMOs.
Okay. So I actually did a whole lesson on this to our 4-H program here in Louisiana, Davis Parish. So I have a decent knowledge on it, and I do know that a lot of GMO things that are like rice, for example, over here. It's how we get different strands of rice and how we modify our rice to be able to have like what the consumer wants, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes those GMOs can affect our like health in a lot of different ways if they're the wrong way or things happen in that process. So I do think they're good, but whenever we go to the store and we see a lot of non-GMO, like why do we want non-GMO? There must be something wrong, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a huge thing, but I do think that we have what we already had before non-GMO, and people lived off of it perfectly fine. And I think when we were bringing in non-GMO and already intertwined with what we have now, it can cause a lot of issues because I know right now we have something called red rice, and in our I'm just blanked in our rice fields. We'll have that rice that was modified wrong, and it causes very invasive species. And there's a rice that you can't consume. So whenever we bring that into the fields, especially whenever we're modifying different like plants for that and the seeds that are growing our rice, it's not something that I can stand for.
Yeah. Okay. My opinion on GMOs is simply around the idea of like a limiting factor of like biodiversity. Because if we're able to modify every single plant to be super strong and grow super big, that's when we see like almost too much of the exact same nutrient being pulled up from soils, and that's where we get soil erosion and all of those kinds of things. So I am not educated enough to say I'm like 100% anti-GMO, but based on the ag knowledge I do have, I would say I lean towards a less GMO thing. But not because it's like I'm in the public and I'm scared that it's going to have something like cancer in my food. Because obviously I understand that's not at all how it works. And I know that that is a real like fear for people. For me, it's definitely just like, again, the environmentalist aspect, the soil. How are we going to continue to feed like billions and billions of people if all of our plants are the exact same and taking up the exact same things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. And if we have the exact like same strands of all these different things, we'll have such a higher ag surplus, and that means we're gonna have too much of things. And what happens to that? Whenever we have too much, we usually sell it to different countries. And if we have too much, then we're losing profit for what we have already in the United States of America. So I think it causes a lot more issues than people think.
Yeah, and that actually brings us back to that fact about how farmers are only making like 11.6 cents for every dollar that is bought. It's like if we continue to produce it at such mass, it's almost like they continue to losing it because of the supply and demand. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one I have mixed opinions on. Tilling the soil.
Okay. I was not expecting that.
Oh,
So like you mean like plow and
yeah,
stuff?
I like plows, yeah.
Okay. So I know a lot of the time I could probably go down the street right now when someone's plowing a field or
Yeah, of
someone's doing
course.
something like.
Same.
So I'm gonna look at it from a farmer's perspective of what I've seen already,
Okay.
and then I'll give you like my opinion on it. From
Okay.
the farmer's opinion, it makes things a lot easier to grow.
Of
It
course.
breaks up the ground, obviously, so whenever they go to plant, it gets into the soil, then they do all the things they have to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want you to think I'm like some farm pro here because I really like. I grew up watching it, but I was rarely ever in the tractor. Like,
of course. Yeah.
So, I mean, I see it as a good thing because it's helping us and our yield get higher within our community.
Yeah.
From a small town perspective, a lot of our money comes from agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever, I guess in a way that's not affecting hugely in a negative way, something that's helping us more efficient is helping us have a higher economic value within our community, something that I can appreciate. So I don't have a negative opinion about plowing.
Okay.
Or tilling.
I have mixed opinions on this one because, again, with the environmentalism, obviously soil erosion, all of that jazz. But at the same time, I really do think that it isn't, like, the hugest help either. Like, as an environmentalist perspective looks at it, it's like tilling is the bad guy. But I feel like if we were to stop tilling, it'd, like, create more problems than it'd start. Because you'd have to, like, put in so much money into figuring out other ways to control the land and stuff. So I think my viewpoint is more on the let's keep it around, but cautiously kind of deal.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we have two more. Two more. My next one is going to be AI. We were not going to get through this podcast without talking about a little bit of artificial intelligence. Yeah. Okay,
so I'm going to give an agriculture AI perspective, and I'm going to give like AI in general.
Okay, please do.
So from agriculture right now, we're losing so much land because of it.
Of course.
Like we're watching so many facilities were being built, and that's something that I'm not for at all. I'm going to be straight up with everyone here.
Yeah.
We are like cutting crop yield by so much just because of facilities getting built. The amount of water that's being used to power these AI and cooling systems, we're losing like cattle production because of cow fields being cut by over like 2/4.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously negative. Now I'm gonna give both sides, and I'm kind of just gonna come together and say my opinion. But positives, we have like new initiatives to like fertilize our fields here in Louisiana, and those drones primarily work through AI. Same thing for our we have these big machines that that spread fertilizer. They're called spray rigs, and so basically they have like 50 nozzles that spray on both sides. It has like wings, like legit wings, but it's like driving. And the system will like see where it's already sprayed, and then if you go over it, it'll cut like 3 nozzles off so it doesn't spray in the same place. And AI works through that to make that happen, so we're not wasting product and we're not spraying somewhere and getting too much fertilizer. But yes, we have really good pros with that. But if we're looking at the negatives, it definitely outweighs the positives.
Okay.
In one of those different ways.
Yeah.
I think it's like what you said before. Keep it around, but cautiously.
You know what? I can stand with that. Except I am the most anti-AI person you'll ever meet. But again, that's because I've like never had to live on a farm that maybe like uses it constantly. Like I've never had to rely on something like that. So maybe I am just a little bit less interested in like analyzing the pros. No, of course. My biggest thing is that the amount of excess water that agriculture uses that maybe doesn't need to be used already from like different irrigational systems, because obviously the ones that won't waste as much water are more costly, like drip irrigation systems cost a lot more. So obviously the farmers are going to move to like a more spray type irrigation, which is going to waste a lot of that water. So I think that since we're already wasting such an abundant amount of water in ag, implementing the AI is just another one of those things with the cooling towers and all of those. It just feels like it's adding up a little too much. So in
Yeah.
my opinion, it's just like we've been doing it for so long without AI. Like this is such a fresh thing. Why did we start in the first?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
I also feel like people are relying on it too much lately.
Right.
Like they can't think for themselves because they're all
No,
just
I
like,
think that
oh
is
yeah.
also, yeah. That's definitely when it just becomes a problem because it's like instead of doing something for yourself or whenever you won't have a thought for like your own opinion,
Yeah,
you
that's
ask
really
AI first, which is just crazy to me. Like
mm,
let's use our brains, guys.
yeah.
Okay, I have one last one for you. This is kind of gonna fall. This is kind of falling under tilling, but not really. Is regenerative agriculture basically saying like implementing practices that is going to make climate change almost non-existent from farms.
Okay.
Does
So
that
I'm
make
gonna be
sense? Or
completely honest with you.
okay.
I don't have a very good understanding of this topic.
Okay, no, that's
Because,
fine.
but can I hear your opinion and then I'll kind of go off of that?
Okay, my opinion on regenerative agriculture is definitely pro regenerative agriculture. I think that however, I don't think that we can just implement one practice. So, one of regenerative agriculture is limiting tilling, but it's also like rotational grazing and cover crops and stuff like that. But you have to mix it all together. So, I'm pro it as long as we're not focusing too much on one thing. Because if we're just focusing on like stopping tilling, that's not going to really move anywhere because we're also ruining the like economy with that.
Yeah.
So my opinion is very pro regenerative agriculture. Like, let's make climate change not the agriculturalist's fault. Let's make it somebody else's fault and like let's not have anybody yelling at us type of deal. But it falls under being able to distribute it throughout all of the different ways it needs. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hearing your opinion, and whenever you said a couple of things, I understand what you mean now by regenerative
Okay.
agriculture. And yeah, it is something I could that I'm with because we have cover crops here that we use in my small town, and it's definitely helped us in many different ways, and it's helping a lot of the morale, I guess, in our community in the agriculture world. So from hearing what you had to say, and from my personal experience, I have to say I'm pro for it too.
Okay, perfect. Well, that is the last thing I had for us. I do have one last comment I'm going to make. Part of my podcast goal was to give a local farmer a voice because we often see, like, for me, it's the city of Chicago gets most of the say in the state's government, not the smaller towns, so the farmer won't get that voice. So I'm going to leave it off with you. If you have anything else you want to say with your voice to promote agriculture, promote your community, anything like that, now's the time before we end it.
Okay, so I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but just for anyone, just for anyone who's curious or even has the want to become anything in agriculture, I know that it's opened horizons for me. It's opened me different opportunities, and it's given me, like you said, my own voice.
Yeah.
And it's allowed me to be Austin Bruchhaus, not someone I to stay away from. And it's just overall like being an FFA, it's me so much to become who I am. And I used to think that I had to be perfect each and every day for anyone to appreciate me or like me. But one of my friends now, who's a past state officer, told me this quote that people don't expect you to be perfect; they just expect you to be you. So
Yeah.
go out and be who you are, be you, and find something that you love.